Thank you. So like all of you, I share a love for food. For me, it began with my parents and grandparents at the age of 6 or 7 when they brought me into the kitchen, taught me the family recipes, and taught me the creative aspects around cooking, but also to respect the food that made it to the table. And it's these values that I carried in my life as I began a career in food, first starting in distribution, then working with large manufacturers and retailers, and now in the technology startup that I'm involved in today. And yet, I have a confession to make. After 15 years of experience in the food business, only recently did I realize just how much food is being wasted. Would you believe that 1/3 of all food is wasted from farm to fork? And if food waste was a country, it would be the 3rd largest emitter of greenhouse gases in the world behind the US and China. And with 800 million people going hungry, it's a scandal that we can no longer afford to let continue. Today, what I want to talk to you about are 3 things. I first want to help you understand the issue of food waste, but I want to talk about the opportunity to go and address it. And then to understand where you can make a change, I think you need to dig deeper into where food waste happens to identify where change can be made and where we can make an impact. And then finally, I want to tell you a little bit about my experience building a company called Winnow that works with restaurants, schools, and hotels to help them understand what they're wasting and help them to cut it in half. And so for me, my journey began while working for McKinsey in the McKinsey Global Institute. We were doing one of the most ambitious research projects on resource use and resource efficiency that's ever been taken on. We were looking at resource use across all resources, including energy, water, minerals, and food, and trying to think what could be done about it to meet the needs for the next 20 years. And we had a challenge of tying it all together. And so one way we did that was we put a cost on resource waste. And if you put a cost on the amount of food being wasted, you would find that it's nearly $1 trillion worth of waste every year. That's $1 trillion of food being wasted annually. And to put that in perspective, that is 1% of global output, or $2.5 billion of food wasted day in and day out. Now, you can look at that $1 trillion issue, but you can also think of it as an opportunity. And for an entrepreneur who's approaching a $1 trillion market, that's a modern-day gold rush. Think of the billions being made in areas like fuel efficiency in cars, in electric mobiles, or looking at what can be done to make buildings more energy efficient. Though we're making fantastic progress in this area, but in food waste, we're just getting started. To help you understand where the opportunities lie, I then want to talk about where food waste occurs. And what you first have to think of it is as 2 different stories. In developing regions like Africa, what is grown is harvested, and what makes it to the table is eaten. But 40% of fruits and vegetables that go into the supply chain never make it out to the other end because of inadequate facilities, meaning that there's inefficient processing, storage, and distribution that unfortunately food is wasted along the way. The great news is that in the UK and the US, we've broadly solved that problem. We have modern supply chains that with incredible efficiency get food from farm to our tables at a very low cost. The problem is that we've taken 2 steps backwards. We no longer respect the food at the farm, and we no longer respect the food at the table. At farms, 20% of food is wasted from fruit and vegetables because either it doesn't meet exacting standards, or because last minute we change orders on farmers who then have no other options but to take a look at what they once thought was a bumper crop and plow it back into the field. At homes, we buy too much, and in businesses, we often make too much and put too much on plates, meaning that 20% of the food that goes into those buildings never gets actually put into someone's mouth. That food gets wasted as well. And you can look at this and you can think, geez, this is incredible. How do we solve this problem? But the fact is, we can do something about it. We can build modern technology at a low cost that will allow developing countries to leapfrog the way that we work with our supply chains today and take care of that food. We can create new markets that allows food that would have otherwise been wasted at the farm to be paired from suppliers to buyers who want that food and can make use of it in the supply chain. And we can build awareness and provide technology to help people understand what's being wasted at the point of consumption so that they can make better planning decisions and prevent food waste at home and in commercial kitchens. And the fact is that there are some green shoots of companies doing things about this today. Take, for example, India. $10 billion worth of food is wasted because of unreliable cold chains in India. Those are supply chains that have to maintain a constant temperature to take care of that perishable produce as it goes from farm to the point of consumption. Companies like Promethean Power Systems are building solar-powered refrigerators to allow farmers to disconnect from an unreliable grid, no longer rely on diesel fuel, and reduce food waste while improving their livelihood at the same time. When it comes to imperfect produce, what we found and what we've seen is really that it's all about branding. This food is perfectly good to eat. Retailers like Carrefour and food service providers like Compass Group are finding ways to take this food and bring it into their business and make use of it, either calling it inglorious fruits and vegetables and selling it to consumers at a lower cost, or imperfectly delicious food and bringing it into their kitchen and making use of it to reduce waste and have a more efficient business at the same time. And then there's the company that I'm building, Winnow. We put technology into large-scale kitchens to help them understand what's being wasted. We then provide them with tools to help them make better planning decisions. We found that when you put technology to help people understand this into kitchens, you can cut food waste by value in half. And many times, you can do it by 70% or more. And for kitchens, which are a tight business and a difficult business to run, it's a significant margin uplift, 2 to 6 percentage points to be able to reduce food waste. Now, we're saving our clients $3 million a year in food costs by deploying our technology. But to put that into perspective, we estimate that $80 billion a year is the cost that the hospitality industry faces due to food waste. So we're really just getting started. We built our business as a for-profit company on purpose because we believe that business can be a force for good. We believe that when you identify a profitable model, people will invest in that model, scale it up, and solve the problem in a meaningful way. We're a part of a small but growing community of entrepreneurs that are trying to solve this issue. And I invite you to join us. If you're an entrepreneur and you care about food, find a spot in the supply chain that you're passionate about and build something that solves this problem. It's an enormous market, an enormous opportunity, and I promise you, getting out of bed, you will feel great that you are trying to solve this problem. It's an entrepreneur's dream. If you're an investor, invest in good companies solving this problem. The scale of the market means that those that crack this issue are going to create tremendous value. And if you're in the food business, take a look at your own business. Understand what you're wasting. Then look around and see how people can help you to solve it. You will probably find that it is one of the most profitable investments you could ever make. If you love food and you hate seeing it wasted, I invite you to join the fight. It is one of the most exciting and challenging opportunities we will face in our generation. Thank you.